Okay, so this is just a little kind of a demonstration. It's kind of an experiment I've been thinking about doing because I've been talking to you about the gift but early on, Suvi, who brought the gift, he pointed out that or was vehicle for the gift. He pointed out that you can't prove that God exists in the material world, and people won't be able to see. You have to set an example, and that's how we should spread the gift. So now, what's happening here? This is going to be like 5 minutes of this, uh, and then I'm going to come back in a little while and do it again, very very briefly. After that, I'm going to go and do what I do. It has to do with the gift, and then it's going to take about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to come back, hopefully, God willing. So what's happening now is that I'm pretty fresh. I've just gotten up, and it's 3:36 in the afternoon. I made my espresso. I've had my coffee. I'm having my coffee. Having a few sips of coffee. But usually around this point, instead of doing this, I thought and then let the gift work on me, the power of God work on me. So, what I'm going to do is, just talk for another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to go out and I want you to see if you can see any difference, because you can't see me. You see my forces and you see my body and everything. Like you can't, basically see me. You get clues about who I am. Things. Obviously my heart's a little chipper, and stuff like that. And I look pretty fresh. You're on the ranch. Okay, so can't really think of anything to say offhand, but here I am, and we're just going to compare this. So that's that. Okay, so now it's 3:48, and I'm back, and just going to see if this is for you, to see if you can see any difference between the first section there, a minute or so, and this section. I let the gift work on me, so for a few minutes. It's very short for me right now, and then I clean my glasses, so I'll do it. Sorry, but that's my routine. And here I am. I'm just going to talk about the odd thing. For purposes of demonstration, this is a demonstration of consciousness, and I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not pulling any strings here. I'm not doing anything. I didn't take a pill, or and I'm not trying to come at you from a different place. Same thing, just me talking to you straight on, and in the hopes that you'll be able to see. But if you don't, you don't. So see if there's any difference. Of course. Now here's the thing about something like the gift. You look the same, don't you? I look about the same to me. And I don't know if I'm talking much differently, but we'll see, because I'm going to play it myself and I'll see. So just briefly, what's happening is trying to get this gift out to mankind that would save mankind. It would actually save mankind. And it's so easy to do, In other words, if you ask everybody in the world, okay, now here's all you have to do to save mankind is go down to the store and buy, a Snickers bar or something at 10 in the morning. It has to be right at 10, or have to be in line or whatever. If you would do that, then have a little faith. Don't think about it. Just do it. And if you'll do that one thing, then the world will be saved. And the gift is really pretty much like that. It's so easy to do. So you think, Wonder how many people would actually go down. Well, of course, a lot of people wouldn't go down, would they? Because, unless they were moved to. No, God intervened and everybody suddenly felt, wow, I've got to go do this. Why then? Sure, you could get everybody down there, but, under the usual kind of circumstances we operate, you could see that there would be some young, open-minded people who didn't know any better or whatever, and wouldn't think about things too much, and be enthusiastic about life and hopeful that they would run down there and buy Snickers bars. And, but if I put this up on YouTube and said to do that, why, there would only be a very, very few people, because almost nobody would see my video. And I'm trying, I'm really trying to get a thing. Now I'm talking way over on this part, but I'm trying to get a thing. Most of you know right now in 2012, it was June, late June 29th. The internet's very dynamic right now, and obviously different things going on with it. Some things are successful, these little quick apps that people get and play music and stuff. That's forming groups, forming lots of different groups. But the thing I'm thinking about and I'm looking at is trying to find your own peers, people who have similar points of view, similar levels, similar aspects, and understand each other pretty good because they're pretty close in their progress in life and their state and condition. Not just about how they look or how much money they have, how much education they have, what their IQ is, or how sensitive they are, but a combination of things which would, try to kind of replicate a thing that used to happen when I was a kid, where in the 60s, where things were, of course, back in the day, things were simpler, and so then you could go to, you could actually find a university. They weren't all interested in making money then so much, some were, but I mean still, and you could kind of find your own people there. People that you like to be around them, and you enjoyed their conversation, and you were learning things from them, and they were hopefully learning things from you. You were doing your fair share, and that's a little more difficult to get to today. Facebook, with all due respect, it doesn't really work for older people very much. I mean, the kids share their photographs, and it's all very nice, but, as far as having some good friends that have manners and write back to you and actually establish a good relationship with them, it's active. It needs to. Your progress and their progress, why, it's pretty hard to find, I think. Maybe it isn't for some people. I speak for myself. I think it's a pretty standard thing. People don't answer emails, and then it's hard to find. It's hard to find the exact community. Chad has a community. Huffington Post has a community. There's some video. Anyway, I'd like to get a better screening or a better kind of way to. Because the web, 2 billion people. Wouldn't it be great if you could just go right to your friend's house right away? Or you could find some people that would want to be your friends and that you would want to be friends with. Wouldn't that be nifty? And it's hard to put it down because technologically it's possible, isn't it? So me and my sons are working on it. Anyway, so now I've gone talking quite a long time on this thing, because the other one's only like a minute and a half or 2 minutes or something, and this one, let's see, how long was it? It's 2 minutes and 37 seconds. This one's 7 minutes, so altogether 10 minutes. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to stop now. We're going to see if there's any difference. Okay, bye. Okay, this started out, being a pretty simple exercise, but I don't know, I got feedback, because I did it, and then my friends and so forth didn't, they couldn't see much of a difference. So I went back and studied the two different things, the first 2-minute thing and then the 7-minute clip afterwards where I'd gone out and let the power of God work on me and see if there was any difference. And I did notice some things. So you can watch the two things and you can make up your own mind, of course. You know, that's the point. And but I do think that, you know, people, I don't know how observant they're trained to be these days, or, you know, how much the idea of being oblivious entices them. So I've kind of added a couple things here to sort of give you a possible way to see this, you know, I mean, to look at it, you know, through kind of in a certain way, and then see something. Okay, so what it is, I'm going to read from something I wrote after I did all this. Let's see, you're going to have more of a chance of perceiving the difference if you watch this video with headphones in a quiet room at night without others present to distract you. This is because these are matters of life, and when the buzz of daily activity and pressure is absent, when the heat of the day has subsided, then you can be more reflective and less distracted and notice the smallest thing more easily, including the subtleties of changes in life. Okay. So it turns out that this was just supposed to be simple, but it became more complicated, and when it began to be clear that it isn't as easy to do as I thought it might be. But I'm not going to give up on this video, so because there are some ways I think you can look at it and see a meaningful difference. So what you want to do here in the second thing, well, in the first thing, you know, just, you know, take a look at my eyes and, you know, and listen to the tone of voice a little bit, you know, as you're doing it, you know, observe it. And then, also I just want to mention in the second part, there's this thing about Snicker bars, just an analogy because the gift is actually, you know, something you would do twice a week for half an hour, but I mean, you know, it's simple and it's similar to going to the store and buying something. It's a very simple thing to do. Okay, so what I'm actually hoping that you can see, and again I'm reading from my notes, but has to do with the soul and life. So I did see something watch again, which you might also be able to see. And they say that the eyes are the window of the soul and life is movement. So for instance, young children who are clean and closer to their soul will have the sparkly eyes and be very lively and that sort of thing. So here, getting up in the morning usually, now I'm talking about myself, the passions have, and you know, most people, have a kind of laid on you from sleeping, so you're kind of in a trap. And then later on in the day when you've been active, you'll, you know, have your coffee, whatever, you often clear up and feel like yourself. So in the first section, if you're, you know, paying attention, you perceive, you can see that this kind of condition is happening with me to some extent. Life is moving rather slowly through me. I'm kind of resting in my passions, which are calm enough, and my voice is a bit gravelly. I can't think of much to say other than the idea that I already had. When I got up, I had this idea. So, if you're interested, try to see if there is actually a difference. I think you can go back to the first section and see if you look at my eyes, let's say there's a normal amount of light or whatever there. If you look closely at the second section, after I let the gift work on me, there's more sparkle in the eyes. They're actually clearer and brighter. Also, the voice is clearer and less gravelly. And the conversation moves along quicker and is more lively. That's because letting the gift work on me for a few minutes took me out of the trap of the passions and put me in a clear space. And that's really what I'm trying to, you know, because for me, you know, it's so different. I mean, and I love it, you know. It's so different being in the one state of consciousness where everything is real close to all your problems, and the other one's like, whoa, it's all blown out there, and you're, you know, it's outside of you, and you feel lively, and it's just a nice, I can't, you know, it's a nice space to be in, and it's absolutely, you know, I observed it over the years, many years, so I know for certain that, you know, this is the thing that happens to me when I let God work on me for, I'd say it's about 5 minutes into the day when I start my day, and then this change happens. Whoa, it's nice, you know, it's nice, it's good place to be in. Wouldn't give it up. Whoa, wouldn't want to think, oh gosh, if I couldn't have that, what would that be like? Oh, I wouldn't want to do that. So anyway, So when you look at the second section after I've gone out, and I'm in this space actually. Let's see, blah 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 blah. Okay, this that's okay. Letting the gift work for me for a few minutes. It took me out of the trap of the passions and put me in a clear space. So evidence of more life and cleaner life is going on there. Hope you can see it. I'm thinking that some of you will be able to honestly see a difference, and probably most of you won't. If you don't, let me know. I mean, if you do, I'm sorry. If you do, let me know, and I can tell you how to get the gift. Of course, you know, this is kind of like thing. It's not in order, sequence of order, like, you know, what is the gift, and what's all about. I'm doing that. I have those tapes, which I haven't really published them yet, but I do have those. This is just kind of something I thought about down the road, and I thought, you know, wow, there's such a difference. I wonder if it would show up on a video. So that's what this is about. And it's kind of like, you know, you probably possibly have to have some, you know, you have to have some ancillary conversation about this to understand very much of what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm trying to keep it simple. So, now, then if you do, then you tell me, and I can help you get the gift. Of course, if you do get the gift, you receive your own proof that God exists, a proof that is suitable to your own nature, a definite convincing proof for you. Certainly not something that's talked about before. Certainly not something like this demonstration, which is somewhat subtle and could be interpreted, and I'm sure discounted in 1,000 ways. So there it is. I studied the video now, probably too much, I suppose, and what I see is actually two different people talking to you. The first one is definitely slower and less lively. The second is quicker, more alive, and cleaner. So this is what, among other things, the gift offers you: an easy way to free up your soul so that it can be active and alive and clean, operating in a clean, intelligent way as you go through your life. Be on the right side of the quick and the dead, as they say. Lastly, to be fair, I do think that the first guy's a little more stupid, a little slow at times in an acceptable way, whereas the second enlivened version has a relatively more intelligent, quicker person discussing things. Again, if you have a positive response to this, you can honestly see a real difference between the two conditions. Give me feedback, talk to me if you can. That's okay. Perhaps another time. Okay, so I'm trying to I don't know where I'm going to insert this, somewhere in this business, you know, with the hope to have some success in what I'm trying to do here. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Well, that was a joke. God, I can't believe it. I was so excited because I thought, yeah, people will be able to see the difference, you know, and that'll be great. So I did the two guys, and you know, because here's the thing. You know, if the Almighty's cleaned up your eyes and done a lot of work on you, everything else, so, you know, you kind of can see a little more clearly certain things and stuff, and, you know, of course there's, you know, improvement. So, I did it, you know, and I made things that came out much better than I thought, and I thought, wow, look at that, it's so obvious, you know, right there, because, like, you know, for me, you know, when I look at the second one, it's like this light, you know, there's a different light, and that's what I see. I see a different light comes in, it's all lighter, and I'm more lively, and you know, of course, I still look the same, don't I? I still look the same right now. So, I did this, so I was pretty excited about it, so, and it happened to my neighbor, Dave, you know, he's a Seventh-day Adventist. He doesn't have the gift, but he's a good guy, and so he came over to help. It's unusual anyway. So, you know, right after I did this, he came over and I watched it and I thought, this is great. I got to put this up on the web. So Dave came over and I said, could you watch this? I want you to see. So he watched it. He's 76 and German, Russian. You know, he's a good guy. Really, a very special guy. Anyway, so he watched. He said, "Well, he said, you know, I don't really see any difference." I said, "Well, Dave, look here, between this one and that one, can you see? You know, I just did the last few seconds of the first video, you know, and then just a few seconds of the next one. And by then, I have to admit, you know, I was already starting to have trouble seeing it myself because I think it's just being clean. You see, not clean, even a little, you know, and then you kind of can't see it anymore." And so He said, well, he says, no, I don't see it. Actually, I don't see any difference. Gave me his opinion. It was his true opinion. He was honest. Then I brought my son over later, because I was sure my son, I mean, he has the gift and everything else. And then he watched it. He said, well, that was pretty good. So he got all involved with what I was talking about. And he said, I had a little trouble in the middle there. And I said, yeah, but could you see the difference in the condition, in the state? He said, well, yeah. So I showed it part of it again, and he said, well, yeah, I can see that. I don't think other people will be able to see that. So it started out, it was kind of an exciting day for me, and I thought, wow, this is fine. I found some. And then by the end of the day, I was a little bit, I don't know. So anyway, that's the Daniel law, this whole thing. It didn't work, and so I don't know if I'll ever try it again. Maybe I could do it in some kind of way. But that's the truth of it. It was actually not so much about like well, it is for me. It's a state of consciousness. I just did. This is the next day, and I just didn't. I know very well that I'm in this different state. It's a nice state of consciousness. Feels good. It's, in my space, it's nice. But I can't expect. I mean, it's just it apparently is not clear to others, and that's probably a good thing because they say, "Well, he's in a different state. What's happened to him?" So I guess people just don't notice it. And that's probably fine. Anyway, so I'll go on with my more pedestrian thing of writing about the gift and all the stages and how you can get the gifts and everything like that. So I'm sorry that. So and my son, he thought part of the second one he could hardly watch it. He said, "I don't know, it's going on." So anyway, there you go. That's the end of that, and there you have it. Okay, this is just a final thing, and just a final note. This is the next day, here we are. So I just want to mention that, of course now really, I don't want to, it's like I just want to kind of point out, or kind of say, if you are able to be aware of, certain things, a few things, content or work, if you look at the first thing and the second thing, if you, or if you're really seeking, you're really trying to see, is there something that if you let God work on you, then, it would kind of make a difference. I mean, something you could see, pretty quick. Well, the first section, if you could, if you notice about vibes and content and everything, you can see that, it's really coming from a certain place. It's an okay place, it's all right. The second section is like really actually like coming from a different place, and that's really there's a different feel to it, a content. Of course, maybe if you could tell that difference, you'd already know that something, maybe I'd be, preaching to the choir, but what it really is, if you, if you're really earnest about seeking, you're not averse to kind of spending some work, doing some work, and finding some time. I think you can see that it's like really two different. These people in the first, still me, but it's a different place. They're a different place. And how could you do that in 12 minutes? Which is what happened. I mean, I was gone for about 12 minutes or something, or less, something like that. And I didn't take so, and that's really the point of it. That is kind of a, it's an evidence. If you could see it, it's an evidence for the notion that if you aren't scared of your Father, the Almighty, you let the Almighty actually work on you for a few minutes. Um, you know, it can put you in a different place, and that place that it puts you in is better. So it's nicer. It's more fun, and so that's really the point of this exercise. Having said that, of course now I'm kind of as they say in the court, asking leading questions. So I don't want to, but I just want to mention that thing that if you look at it in terms of your feeling and you just open yourself up to it a little bit. Yeah, I think you can see a difference. I think you can, and if you do, I want you to know it's a real difference. There's no anything going on here. I didn't, I would not ever do that. I don't, I want to be real straight about everything. Period. So okay. So anyway, God bless, and thanks for watching this if you did, and of course if you and have a good day. Uh, yeah.